Thank you so much to Phaedrus and MLAATR Fan 2004 for supporting me on Patreon. Your generosity and support really does go a very long way. If you like what I do and want to support me in a more personal way, then consider joining Patreon today. You will have special perks, including having your name at the beginning of each video. You will get special updates in regards to the Triton LEGO Railway in terms of personal updates, events, and anything else related to the railway before anybody else. Access to LEGO digital designer files of the very locomotives, rolling stock, and other structures I have made on my railway. And so much more. Link to the Patreon page is at the top of the description. Consider joining today. Hello and welcome to a video dedicated to the history of the Emerald Champion. The very first LEGO train on the Triton LEGO Railway. The first giant, which spawned many more of that class coming out. A favourite LEGO train of my subscribers, and so much more. It is just such a unique model. And I thought it would be very good to have a complete history of this particular engine. For two reasons. First of all, it has such a rich history that in the past I have mentioned, and it'd be nice to actually go into that history. Secondly, obviously this month is dedicated to the Emerald Champion, so why not have a look at the entire history altogether. So things begin in May of 2012. Yeah, that long ago. How many people remember this? So the Emerald Champion was first built with two Emerald Knights put together. One was bought on, one was acquired on Christmas 2009, I believe it was. It was when it first came out. And a few months after, in 2010, I was able to buy one with, all my pocket money saved up. Oh, it was so long ago. But it was such a worthy purchase because of what it turned into. Now, the video title says it's version 1.1. And in a way that is true, because when it was first built, it only had one tender. The version you see in the video has two tenders. And it's such a simple build. You look back now and you think, what the hell did that turn into? It's amazing, actually. But yes, there's another way of showing how far I've come with the building techniques and just how I build trains going forward in general. Moving forward to October 2014, the Emerald Champion will see the internet again with version 3.0. Now this is my most viewed video at over 35,000 views and currently has over 260 likes. It is such big numbers, and for a channel of my size to see numbers like that still there is unbelievable. And for a model that simple, to have that many likes and views kind of blows my mind, because back then it was a great motivator. Oh, people like this, let's keep building it, let's keep doing more stuff with it. So time goes on, and it's not until November of 2015 until we see the Emerald Champion again, only for the third time in a span of 3 years. My goodness. So this is just a 3.5 minute video of me just playing around with the Emerald Champion, just talking about it, and yeah, it was nice to just make another video at that point. Then going into 2016, things started to pick up, and it got really exciting. In January of 2016, I did a new version of the Emerald Champion. This is version 4.0, and things started to pick up a little bit more in terms of detail. Things were a bit more refined. It's still a bit garish in comparison to what it would go into, but it was, it's starting to grow. It's actually getting better. Going into the middle of 2016 in June, version 6.0 graced our presence, and that was an interesting version to say the least. For what it was pretty cool. And this was the first iteration, I believe, that, making sure I'm looking at this correctly, or version 4.0, I think actually this before it, where it had drive wheels on the first tender. Knowing that knowing that steam locomotives had two tenders, think Flying Scotsman, that was something I wanted to do for the Emerald Champion. If I'm gonna build something like this, I'm gonna go all in. I want to have as much on this as possible. Two tenders, it's a thing, done deal, we're making it. Drive wheels on a tender, done deal, we're making it. So version 6.0 was nice, but going into version 7.0 was unbelievable. bringing out a few bricks, adding some more colours, just pizzazzing it everywhere. It was absolutely amazing. It's like building a brand new engine, but so many modifications were made to that version. That's what I would call the proper first version of the Emerald Champion, making it look like a massive engine, properly bringing out the details. It was so different, so crazy, and so cool. You keep going through 2016 and you see another video pop up here and there about ideas for the Emerald Champion. There was a quick 14-second video I did of me just playing around with some of the modifications for the Emerald Champion. That was me going from the process from 6 to 7. And yeah, it's just a quick funny little video of me tying all of, well, not tying, but rather, what's the word I'm looking for? Basically building all of the drive rods together into one super long drive rod. And it's actually quite funny. I think that's really cool. Something I probably could do again in the future, but I think it's just a bit too silly for me to do nowadays. And then we go into version 8.0, coming into August of 2016. This was a bigger, more refined version. We're starting to make it look a little bit nicer. It's still got the 3 drive units underneath the boiler. It's still a really crazy looking engine. But it's starting to look more professional at this point. After that went out a month later, I decided to just refine it a little bit more, here and there, make a few changes, make it look a little bit cleaner. That's when a proper action video was made. And it was nice to actually get a massive engine going around a loop. Now, having to move it by hand is something that's, going to have to be accepted because it's such a massive, heavy engine. No way is any kind of power functions or motors or whatever gonna have the strength to move it. But that's the sort of thing you're gonna have to accept if you're gonna build something that big, anyways. Or if you're really good with power functions, I suppose you could give it a go. Yeah. Well, speaking of which, we'll save that for later. Then we go to September 28th of 2016. Version 10.2 is released. The title of that video is The Best It's Ever Looked. Now, at the time, I believe that to be true. Getting more refinement in there, making it look nicer, taking away some weird bricks, adding some better looking bricks, and it was just coming together. Looking better, the tenders look smoother, the drive wheel units have been remade. Instead of there being 3 drive units under the tender, at this point there were 2. This was an interesting decision for me to take for a few reasons. First of all, the Emerald Champion having 3 drive units was one of the main things about it. The fact that it had so many drive wheels. But at the same time, they were very simple drive units. If you look at 10.2, there's a bit of piston power going now. Again, very simple, but the progression is there. And you just look at how the boiler looks, where some of the slope bricks come out by a stud and it kind of goes back and forth like that. It's that look. It's just, again, slowly but surely it's becoming the model we know today. So time goes on, and then eventually in October of 2016, we're still in that year, but going into the later half now. This is where I start to get those comments saying, are you going to sell it? Are you going to make instructions? Will you just give it to me? And I got pissed off. So October 19th, 2016 was the day I uploaded a video about version 11.0 of the Emerald Champion. Adding version 11.0 to that video title was unnecessary, but I thought I may as well just put it there for the sake of adding it on, because when I was recording the video, yes, it was updated, but that's not the focus. That's just me having a quick rant saying, stop asking me if it's for sale. It's never going to be for sale. Don't ask for instructions because it's too big. I can't make instructions. You get the idea. Going into the end of that year now, I upload a little video that says you're not supposed to see this for a few months. This is November 22nd, 2016. Now at this point, I've turned the Emerald Champion into a triplex. But the video that showcases that wasn't supposed to go out until another 2 months. And it was really cool to see the Emerald Champion grow into a triplex, because at this point I was thinking to myself, okay, what's real? 2 tenders? Check. A triplex is real?
3 drive units? I mean, we all knew about the Union Pacific Big Boy, but the triplex, that's actually a thing? Done deal, let's make it happen. But knowing that wasn't going to go out for another 2 months because of how I scheduled uploads, and kind of still do to this day, I thought, well, a teaser is going to be nice, so why not? And going into December at the end of 2016, I thought, let's have a bit more fun and just do an action video of the Emerald Champion pulling all of the rolling stock I had to the point where it completely covered the loop of track I had. That is so cool. We now enter 2017, and on the 11th of January of that year, we see the Emerald Champion with 24 drive wheels with golden details. It is a triplex. And making the title like that really worked when it came to getting views. So a majority of these videos are, or have views that are in the thousands. And at this point, I believe it was somewhat lacking in views because of other videos I was doing at the time. So looking back now, it has over 2,400 views. And the title, like when every time I see this and read it back, it's like 24 drive wheels, golden, triplex. It's like that, oh my god, we got to see this. And it's worked, yes, because it got views. People love it still. But time goes on and people get excited about it, so much so they're still asking if it's going to be for sale. So on January 21st, 2017, I say to people, stop asking me for instructions or if it's going to be for sale, because I am really getting pissed off. So, after that happens, I decide to go a little bit further. The triplex is real, and I saw concept drawings for a quadruplex. It's a way of making it bigger, so let's do it. So on January 25th, 2017, I upload a video going over a great many modifications of the Emerald Champion. And I believe it says there, version 12.2 to version 14. And there were sort of final built versions, for lack of a better word, of the Emerald Champion. So it was modification, finish it all up, how does it look? And I did that a few times, going back and forth. And I think that was about a week, or at least a week of modifications. But it was also in that video where for maybe just a day, the Emerald Champion officially became a quintuplex. How amazing is that? It wasn't officially documented besides having a few seconds in the video, but it wasn't until a few years later when that would actually become a quintuplex. But here's this little pocket in history where it actually had 5 drive units. How amazing is that? But after refinement and finally coming to a sort of nice version of the model that I'm actually happy with, we enter February of 2017 and we see a stupid long Emerald Champion with minor steampunk details. That's me trying to make it look flourishy and cool. Version 14.0 is being shown to the world, and that is one of my favourite versions of the Emerald Champion. It looks amazing. So there have been so many times where people have said to me, why don't you power your engines? I mean, you seem like you can build your trains easily. Learn power functions. And the only thing I have against power functions, well, more so nowadays, is the power source. I don't know what certain people are using for this to work, because I refuse to believe at all that the standard battery box that they are using is what's powering their Lego trains, because you see some bigger ones, some heavier ones, some more detailed ones, and you can see them pulling loads of coaches. Sure, the coaches are powered, but for how much power is needed out of the motors and for how fast they're going, what the hell's powering them? So when people were saying, you should power your Giants, oh, come on, really? Like, that's going to happen? Well, in March of 2017, I gave it a go. So there's a little 2.5 minute video of me saying, well, you know, if you wanted me to power it, sure, go on then, I'll give it a go. I've seen a design online of somebody powering a Lego Big Boy, and I think I can give that a go. So this is titled as version 15.3, and I'm pretty sure at the end of that video it was finalized, I think, but it was not a success. Here's why. Yes, I was able to get it all to work. Using 3 medium motors, I was able to power the Emerald Champion. However, after a few minutes of working, if that, the battery box gave in. I topped up that battery box with fresh batteries, the strongest batteries I could get. As in, I bought brand new batteries. There was so much power being drained from that battery box, I swear to God, it just drained it. It died. I can remember my dad coming into my room and saying, "Look, you powered it, it's a success." And I said to him, "No, it isn't. It stopped working. The fact that I have to change the battery that quickly, that's a failure. No way, not acceptable." So we had a bit of a back and forth on that, on whether we agree or disagree if it was a successful build. But ultimately, I took out the power functions because I thought, sod this. If it's not going to do what I wanted to do, failure. 2017 got even crazier with the discovery of a website called Shapeways. So Shapeways is a website where you can have your own store and sell your own things, kind of like Etsy. But Shapeways has a bigger focus on 3D printed materials. And that's where I discovered a train store that sells Lego compatible 3D printed drive wheels. So I thought, okay, let me give these a go. They're bloody expensive, but I can do it. So I got some extra large drive wheels. I thought, they're massive. I got a massive train. That's what I want. And after some experimenting, April 2017 saw, at that point, the biggest version of the Emerald Champion. So much so, in the title I said, it's finally too big. I always convince myself and my subscribers, look, it doesn't matter how big this gets, it's never going to be too big. I mean, come on. But with the size of the drive wheels and how the boiler looked and the tenders, I thought, oh my god, I'm going too far. I'm making Frankenstein's monster. But it was so glorious to see such a massive engine in my hands when you grab it and pick it up. Oh, it was glorious. So when I bought the drive wheels, I bought enough to make 4 sets of 8 drive wheels. So 4 on each side, 4 of those. Eventually it got a bit too much, so I thought, yeah, I need to tone this down. And then that happened towards the middle of the year. In June and August, I thought, yeah, I'm going to have some fun, and then I'm going to need to kind of take this a little bit more seriously. And despite August 2017 seeing some modifications, it's not until the beginning of 2018 where we will see the Emerald Champion again. So sticking with the 2XL size drive wheels, I thought, right, let's turn this into a proper good engine. I know I can do it. I've got the wheels I really want to use. Let's go all in with this. Doesn't matter how stupid, doesn't matter how wacky it looks, we're making this. And so in January 2018, we saw version 17.0. Another one of my favorite versions of this giant. It had such an incredible length to it, 170 studs long. That's super long. That's more than 10 track pieces, but not quite 11, if that makes sense. For it to actually be held properly, it would take up 11 track pieces. That's probably what I should have said. Let's just go with that, okay. But this version in particular was huge. Undeniably a giant. The giant of giants. It was such a beautiful build. At this time, I was building the White Medallion, which was a brand new quadruplex, and also modifying Orange Bullet, which was a pre-existing quadruplex. Both of those other giants had 2XL size drivers. So doing all of this in one go kind of inspired ideas for each engine, and the Emerald Champion obviously got the best of the bunch. Looks amazing. So it was all nice and fun just having this big old engine. But then at the time I was like, well, it's starting to get in the way, you know. I'm only really storing this on the floor. What am I going to do with this? So I thought to myself, okay, in the past I said it was getting too big. This is just ridiculous now. So in June of 2018, I did some modifications. I toned it down, went back to the standard size drive wheel, and I thought to myself, you know what, this looks good. We've got 4 drive wheels, or 4 drive units I should say. Let's go to 5. I did it with Big Red, let's do it again with this. And I did hashtag the king is back. That hashtag was only ever used by me. Nobody else used it, nobody else cared. They thought the Emerald Champion is back. Nice. So much for that reveal. But it did get some attention. And for the official showcase review video of version 18.0, it did break 1,000 views. It's currently on 1,500, or just about to hit 1,500, I should say. When it came to the views of past versions, it wasn't really doing too well. But it's nice to see it pick up again. People still cared about the model, and that was something I was really happy with. So it was at this point where it would start to go dormant again. At this point, or I don't think at this point, it was at the end of 2018, I think it was. At the end of 2018, where a Lego auction was going on near me. And I was able to buy an Emerald Knight, the original set. And there's a video you can find on my channel called Emerald Knight versus Emerald Champion, which has over 5,200 views. Big numbers, loving it. And it's the Giant versus the original model. How far it came to become this icon on my railway. Just beautiful. So that was March 2019. That was already like a half-year gap from June of 2018, where I originally showed off version 18.0, all the way to March of 2019. That's actually 9 months of nothing going on with the Emerald Champion. And then it'll be another, about 5 or so months, all the way up to October of 2019, where I decided to modify it a little bit further, take away the center drive unit from a quintuplex back down to a quadruplex, just because I thought, well, you know, if we're going to have something like this, let's try and tidy it up a little bit more, refine it, take away some of the stupidness, make it look nicer. And it rejoined the Quad Squad, quad as in quadruplex. And ever since that point, it hasn't really been touched. Going into the end of 2019, I thought, well, the December Christmas special is going to be all about the Giants. The Emerald Champion is going to be brought up again, but it's not going to really be touched. So ever since October 2019, the Emerald Champion hasn't really done anything. That's over a year is not technically correct, because it was in September when I decided to scrap it. After all those years, September 2020 is when the Emerald Champion inevitably, or finally, depending on how you feel about it, got scrapped. Many people were not happy about this. I got some very unsavory comments, but it was all taken in and everybody moved on. So, yeah, ever since then, I thought to myself, is there any point in really keeping this anymore? Because I go back and forth, it's just sat there not doing anything. Months have gone past where I haven't even thought about it. Some days where I don't even look at it. And going through the process of scrapping it and even bringing it back, rebuilding it into the version that you saw a few days ago, I thought was a wise idea. A good idea? Sure. A wise idea? Definitely. There are many people who have seen the Emerald Champion and have been inspired to build their own locomotive just by this alone. If they go, oh, I feel like building Flying Scotsman or Mallard or Big Boy, it doesn't matter what it is, but if they see this, they go, oh, I gotta do that. Every now and then I'll see that comment, especially back then, where it was so common to see the Emerald Champion get modified. So yeah, now here we are in December of 2020, where Emerald Champion version 20.0 has been built. It is a very different looking locomotive to all the past variants, with the whole steampunk design, how the front end of the boiler looks, just how the engine in general looks. It is actually quite nice to have a look at the, well, yeah, just to have a look at it, I suppose, is actually the best thing I could have said there. Not so much to build it, because I had to learn how to build a giant all over again, but just looking at it, reminding myself, I built that. I actually built that. And so many people loved it. That model has been around for years. That's incredible. Right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the complete history of the Emerald Champion. So the way this video is going to be done, I think for the sakes of keeping editing to a minimum, I'm going to do this as audio only. I'm kind of making this decision now on the spot, because if I try and download all these videos and put this into one big thing, it's going to be just a fucking nightmare. So, yeah, it's going to be a bit cheaty on my end, but at the same time, I don't want to have to deal with all that editing. I'm very sorry if you wanted visuals. All of the videos are still on my channel. Of course they would be. I will leave a link to the Emerald Champion playlist in the description below. Check out all those videos, because there is so much to go through. Each version of the Emerald Champion is different to the previous. It only got bigger, it only got better, and it's still an amazing, inspiring LEGO train. If you have an Emerald Knight and you want to turn it into an Emerald Champion, do it. Why not? If you know you have the parts to build an engine this size, do it. Why not? If I can do it, why not you? Thank you all ever so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you all in the next episode. Bye.